Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Murder y Comadriando.
Hi.
Hello, guys.
And today, Rosa's the one that's going to be reading the case. So whenever you're ready.
Okay, well, let's get on. Today's case is going to be about Colleen Ritzer. And before I get with the actual case, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about her, a little backstory about her. Colleen Ritzer was a high school algebra teacher who was 24 years old when the tragedy happened in Denvertown at Denver's High School in Massachusetts. Colleen was born May 13, 1989 in Andover, Massachusetts. Tom and Peggy were her parents. She also had a brother, Tom Jr., and a sister, a younger sister, Laura. Colleen was a very happy, positive person. She was a cheerleader in high school and a member in the National Honor Society. She attended Assumption College and studied math and psychology. Her passion was family and teaching. Her dream was always to become a teacher. She was a teacher in a couple of schools. First at Hale Middle School, then was a long-term substitute teacher at Gloucester High. In 2012, just 23 years old, she began her first full-time job teaching position at Denver's High School. She taught geometry and algebra in 9th grade. She was also liked very much and became favorite to the students and teachers because she was so genuine and very caring. She cared for her students so much that she had a Twitter account and it was named Miss Ritzer's Math. She would show motivational quotes, notes, videos, just to help them. She would tutor after school as well. Family was very important and she loved baking, shopping, and her favorite color was pink. She was also very close to her family and her brother and sister. And now I'm going to begin with the actual case. By the way, viewer discretion. It is advised because it is pretty gruesome and some of the details are very disturbing. On October 22, 2013, Tuesday, Colleen stayed for tutoring session. There was only 2 students that day. One of them was Philip Chisholm. Philip Chisholm was in her class earlier that day and Colleen approached him to stay after to help with an upcoming math test. Before 3 p.m., Colleen gets up to go to the restroom on the 2nd floor. At 6:30 p.m., Diana Chisholm, Philip's mother, filed a missing person report. He was 14 years old and he attended Danvers High School. His name is Philip Chisholm. He was a very quiet, reserved teen who had recently moved from Tennessee with his mom after his parents had divorced. After that, he excelled in sports, but he kept to himself and socialized with very few other kids. His coach, Mike Chase from Danvers High, also received word that he didn't show up to football practice. 3 hours later, like at 9, the school principal sent an email to the faculty and staff informing that a 14-year-old student was missing. Shortly after that message, another math teacher named Sarah mentioned that Colleen was missing as well. That her parents had contacted her, asking her for Colleen, which appeared she was also missing. Colleen lived with her parents and they had been expecting her way hours after that. Her father went to look for her at the school, but went home because there was nobody there. But what he noticed was that the car was still in the parking lot of the school. Hours kept passing by and both Colleen and Philip were still missing. The teacher, Sarah, informed that Philip had been at Colleen's class that day. So staff went to look for them again and the school, and they noticed the classroom looked normal, but her belongings were missing. At 11:20, the Ritzers reported her missing to the police. Police pinned a location on her phone, and the phone's last known location was around 24 minutes away on foot from Denver's High School. They also pinned Philip's phone and his ping from a nearby cinema. The cinema, by the way, is named Hollywood Theater, to be exact. When they got there, he was not there. Searches started around the area, and later Colleen's purse was found around the area. It was empty, no cards, no IDs, nada. There was nothing. Back at the school, they found like brown stains in the second floor restroom. At 12:30 a.m., now October 23, police was notified of a pedestrian walking in the southbound lane, Route 1 North at Salem Lane in Topsfield. The police realized that it was Philip Chisholm. They patted him down and found a knife on him. They took him to the police department and searched his backpack. They found a bloody box cutter, Colleen's credit cards, and her driver's license, and also an underwear, which later they confirmed it was Colleen's. He told the police he found them laying around at a stop shop. And later he changed the story and said he had stolen it from the car. The police questioned where did the blood box cutter came from. And that's when he said, the girl. He just said it so calmly, the girl. He told the police very calmly, she was in the woods, that she was beyond help. The police took Philip to the Danvers police station, where later met with his mom. He asked the police also that he did not want his mom present while they spoke. He was placed under arrest. A couple hours later, after his arrest, around 3 a.m., a devastating discovery was made. Colleen's body was found near the school in the wooded area. She had been stabbed, strangled, and raped. Excuse my language. She was naked from the waist down. Her top had been pulled up and bra pulled down. Next to her body, there was the handwritten note that said, I hate you all. Her pose, which was referred to by the police as a sexually suggestive position, had been violated with a tree branch, which was still inside of her. 20 yards from her body was a recycling bin, bloody gloves, and clothing. The school had over 100 security cameras, and police began analyzing them. Soon it would reveal the horrible, disturbing events. A student mentioned seeing Colleen talk with Philip, overheard Colleen mention something about Tennessee, the state which Philip had left a few months before and had become visibly upset. And when Colleen had noticed that, she tried to change the subject quickly. In the actual video, it shows Colleen leaving shortly after talking with him and leaving to the second floor to use the restroom. And a minute later, Philip followed her. He puts his hoodie on and some gloves. He walks behind her into the restroom, and that's where they say he strangled her, stabbed her 16 times with the box cutter, and sexually assaulted her. At 3:06 p.m., a female entered the restroom. She told the police she saw a person who appeared like to be just changing. So she didn't think anything of it. Like she thought, oh, okay, it's just a person changing. But there had been clothes on the floor, and she left. And then Philip afterwards followed, and he left the restroom as well. Over the next few minutes, he would run in and out of the school, changing clothes. Then he would go to the restroom to get his and Colleen's belongings, covering his face, putting a ski mask, then later taking it off. And at 3:14, he pulled the recycling bin into the restroom and put her inside, walked out with a ski mask and pulled it out into the student parking. He would pass by people and no one noticed. No one noticed he was just walking around with the recycling bin. When he got into Colleen into the woods, he sexually assaulted her with a 3-foot long tree branch before leaving her body on the ground, covered in sticks and leaves. At 3:30 p.m., a student's mom saw Philip running near the school, and she laid that info around 6 p.m. Philip then returned about 30 minutes after with blood in his jeans and no shoes. He went inside the school, changed his clothes, and went back to the restroom in the second floor one more time, and stayed on site, but skipped his after-school sports, then left, and went to the cinema and purchased a ticket for a 4:30 p.m. showing, and left around 6 p.m. and used Colleen's credit card to buy something from Wendy's. Philip's phone were found later smashed near the cinema. And, that's a little bit of what we know from that. And when he got caught and he was arrested at court, this is some of the court information. The pathologist said there were 2 causes of death. There were asphyxiation and 16 stab wounds to the neck, 3 which hit major blood vessels. They couldn't say which killed her, but she believed it was asphyxiation that happened first because the knife wound were too severe. It would be hard for him to strangle her and cause that. Medical examiners believe Colleen was still likely alive when Philip dragged her body into the woods and subjected her into the horrific sexual assault with the tree branch. A psychiatrist from Harvard said cases such as these were off the charts. They're called charts rare, off the charts rare. They were charging him with murder, aggravated rape, and robbery. He was held without bail. On January 30th, he pled not guilty. In Massachusetts, anyone 14 and above who are charged with murder automatically are charged as adults. He was charged as an adult in the murder charge and as a youth offender on the charges of armed robbery and aggravated rape. While waiting for trial, he attacked someone, a youth service worker. He followed her, attacked her, choked her, hit her, and she suffered major injuries, jaw, neck, to the face, and he got more charges pressed, but it was a separate trial for that. In 2015, his trial with Colleen began, and his lawyers did not dispute him killing her, but argued that it was due to psychotic episode that had been triggered by Colleen mentioning the word Tennessee. They asked jury to find him not guilty by reason of insanity. They said that he had early schizophrenia and that also counted for his actions. But a doctor who testified for the prosecution argued he was not psychotic and his symptoms were inconsistent. He was attempting to fake bad. His defense doctor did end up saying at the end, on that day, his opinion was Philip was not suffering from a mental disease or defect, that it did not impair his capacity to distinguish the wrongfulness of his criminality of his actions. It was obvious Philip had planned the attack in advance, a ski mask, gloves, a box cutter, and took it to school that day. His defense also fought hard for him to be acquitted of the sexual assault in the woods, claiming though Colleen had already died because they were claiming that she was already dead when the assault happened with the tree branch. Philip could not be sentenced to life without parole because of a court rule that is in Massachusetts that prohibits juveniles to be sentenced. He got sentenced to life in prison with a eligibility of parole in 25 years, which was the maximum allowed time for a juvenile convicted of first-degree murder at the time of the crime. For the rape charges, he received another 40 years, and for the robbery charges, he received another 40 and 1+ years. Giving all those charges he will be 54 years when he is eligible for parole, and he would have to prove without a doubt that he's not a threat to society. Philip was sentenced to Security Department Youth Service and will stay until he's 21 years old. Then he will be sentenced to the Massachusetts Correctional Institution for the rest of his time. He will be watched closely. Sadly, that's the story. Colleen's family made a statement saying they were devastated and heartbroken when everything that passed. By all the details, they wanted to mourn and for the media to respect their wishes. Tom, her father, he's had a few words and he said that he felt safe to walk the same halls where the person that killed her, and he felt like he couldn't protect his daughter, and that's what the dad's job is supposed to be, to protect their kids and also to fix things, and he couldn't fix this. Peggy's mom, she says that she often feels isolated. No, she often isolates herself from people because she can't pretend to be happy, like who could? Colleen made a difference, inspired people. Over 1,000 people came and paid their respect at Colleen's funeral. Thousands of teachers and students participated in different vigils. Her family established the Colleen Ritzer Memorial Scholarship in her honor since October 2013. It has awarded over $370,000 in college scholarships to 82 future teachers. A friend also started a kindness campaign for her. Every October 22nd, they do a random act of kindness, and then they post them on sites like on social media, and all that for the beautiful kind and Miss Colleen. And he is now what? He now 25 years old, has pled guilty for the second charges of the attempted murder and battery. His attorney requested a 17 to 20 year sentence, saying that Philip now wishes to take responsibility for what he did. For this, he was sentenced to 20 years and 9-10 for the other charges. He is at Sousa Baranowski Correctional Center. And that's the story of Colleen and Philip Chisholm.
That's so sad.
It is.
That is so sad. And it's so, he was 14 years old. Where in his mind did he think, I'm gonna do this?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think he had a psychotic break. I think with all the information of how many times he changed, because he ended up changing his sweater from I guess he was wearing a red one and he changed it to a blue one. And then he came back with a white shirt and he was wearing jeans. And then he changed into, I think, what was it, like shorts or something?
Yes, and there's like there's pictures, like we'll post them
Yeah.
there's pictures of his pants and everything where, you know, it was, I just think, who brings all that stuff? A ski mask, gloves, box cutter, unless you already planned this, like.
Oh yeah, that's premeditated. That is not a psychotic
Yeah.
break. His lawyers were like, you guys, we can't
They knew
prove
that
it's
there was
not guilty. Yeah, our only thing is insanity. And that's it.
Yeah, and then just because of the word Tennessee, or because bringing up the word Tennessee, like,
yeah, like how many people don't like how many kids go through that, you know, their parents are divorced and you don't see them, you know, just randomly killing because of that, or because, you know, they had to move someplace. Like, no, that's not how it happens.
And you know what? I was watching a video and it was when he went to trial for the second attack once he was already arrested for that youth worker. He went to court for that one.
Yeah.
And when you see pictures and images of him at 14 years old, he looks so little.
Yeah.
He's a little kid. He looks so little and fragile. And then you see the picture or the video of him walking into court
Oh, yeah.
with the bailiffs and everything. He's like a big ass
Yeah, he is.
man. Like he's like a big ass man. And I'm like, dude, how big was Colleen?
She, in the pictures that I've seen, she looks really little. I think she was like
She
really
looks
like
little
petite.
too.
Yeah,
So
she looks really petite.
it would have been so easy for him to overpower her.
well, she
Yeah.
was only what, 24?
Yeah, she was
24.
24.
14, that's 10 years apart.
Yeah, yeah, and you know that nowadays kids, like, you could be 24 and short and petite, and then have like a 10-year-old, 12-year-old, like really big, tall, you know, buff already. Well, he was skinny, right? But I mean,
Yeah,
he was
but he
tall.
played sports.
Exactly. Yeah, he did. He played sports.
He played sports. I know. I saw that and I was like, oh, well, in the pictures he looks so tiny, and people are like, well, how could he like overpower her? Because he
Yeah.
was only 14, he wasn't like a man. But if you think about it, if he's playing sports, he's 14 years old. If you look at the size of him when he's walking into the court, he's like taller than everybody else there.
Yeah.
That's the
And
part
then
that
plus
got me.
we actually don't know. He could have like hit her. Well, maybe not, because they didn't say that. But
Or she probably had her back turned when he
yeah,
attacked
like
her.
her back turned and stabbed her. That could have been, you know, like,
Yeah.
by surprise, who's gonna try to fight something when you're like getting stabbed? We don't know how it happened, but
So what
I
were her
wouldn't doubt.
injuries?
It was asphyxiation, and she had well, he strangled her, and 16 stabs to the neck. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think 3 of them were like severe that her vessels like.
They hit main artery.
Yeah.
And then it's
So she
crazy
had a
because
gruesome.
she had how she died was terrible.
Yeah.
It was so sad.
Did it say if he cleaned up the blood or?
If they, yeah, because in some, I believe they said that the janitor, the custodian, he went in and there was some stains, but it was not like fully
Yeah.
there. So I mean, for somebody who have done like stabbing, I'm pretty sure there must have been like a lot of blood.
Oh yeah, I mean 16 stabs and then in the neck, and if you're cutting main arteries, I mean.
Well,
There
that's
had
why
to
they
have been.
think that she was suffocated first. If I'm right, they think she was suffocated first. And if she wasn't completely dead, she was pretty much almost there. And then that's why when he actually stabbed her and hit the arteries, there wasn't that much blood coming out.
Yeah.
And because when he's walking down the hallway in the video images, his entire right hand is red,
It's
like
it's full of
bright
blood.
red. And he was wearing gloves, imagine.
Yeah.
It was like all bright red, but that's the only piece of blood that you see on him.
But then you know what they also said? They said that he like sexually assaulted her there in the restroom too. Or well, they said that they threw but then he did the other part.
Yeah.
Then he sexually assaulted her with the branch. Like, why? Like, I just don't understand why. Like, what gave him that motive? Like to end
Like he's already gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I don't want to try to understand him, but I'm thinking maybe he's like, well, I already did this act. Well, let's just,
Finish it off.
I already messed up. Let's just continue messing up. Let's see what else.
It's like the people that seen him with the recycling bin, like if you see a kid with a recycling bin after school, like, and it's in an unusual spot, wouldn't you be like,
yeah. And then I don't understand how he got away with it, like bringing an actual trash can. Like if they said they have so many cameras, I wonder if they're not checking the cameras. Because I know that the schools that have cameras, they check them out. They're like there where they can see them. Was there nobody there, like looking at the cameras when all
that
this was
wouldn't make
happening?
sense. If I'm a teacher and I see a kid with a recycling bin walking in the hallway, I would be like, wait, that's not
like,
right.
What are you doing?
And then I think
I would get it. I would understand it if someone's like walking by with a trash can, if there's a party or if like there was a classroom party or something or celebration, then it's like, okay, that kid's helping clean up his classroom or whatever.
Well, it was close to Halloween time.
Yeah,
this was around Halloween season. I think it was what date was it when it happened?
The 22nd of October.
The 22nd of October. So it was around Halloween time, and you guys know when it's Halloween time and it's that close. Usually that week, schools have a lot of different events for like every day. They'll be like, oh, pajama day, or oh, crazy this or day, or whatever, dress up or whatever. So maybe some of the teachers did have an event, and maybe that's what people thought. But what I was gonna say was that when I was listening to, oh gosh, I forgot what podcast it was or what I had read saying that I guess he had talked to 2 friends after he attacked her and killed her and he walked out. He like one of the friends had caught up to him and be like, hey, what are you doing? Like, are you gonna go to practice or something? And that they said that he seemed fine.
Yeah, I think it was when he had, I think it was after he took, no, between when he took the trash can or something like that.
Yeah,
because he was wearing his ski
out.
mask. Yeah, I think he was wearing his ski mask and he took it off when he bumped into that friend. And he took it off and then like
and the kid was like, oh, hey, what are you doing? Like, or what are you doing with the recycling? Algo que le dijo, and he was like, oh, but he seemed normal and calm. And he was talking to me like, oh, yeah, man, like, I'll see you later at practice or something. I'll see you later. And he just kind of dismissed him and just kept walking. And the kid was like, oh, all right. Like, he seems normal enough. But it's like, if you're having a psychotic break, you're not going to be that prepared. You won't be trying to cover your tracks like he did. And you won't be so calm to speak to students like normal.
Yeah.
I don't think anyways.
I just don't understand like how he was so like prepared to do all that. Like at 14 years old, like that to have that mentality, like all that, like everything he did is just like, I wouldn't think that a 14-year-old would be up to that. Like que pudiera hacer eso, you know what I mean?
So he was in her class before, like He had her as a teacher?
Yeah. He had her as a teacher. And before they did the tutoring session, she asked him if he could stay for the tutoring session so that they could like catch up before for some tests.
Because he was like an average student.
Yeah.
He was in sports, but he was like an average student. He did okay, but like he still missed he would have missed homework and stuff like that. Yeah.
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 just
That case is really sad. Because like
yeah.
it's a 14-year-old.
It's
Mhm.
sad because she was just doing her normal day-to-day duties, which was going to your job. So it's like you're
Mhm.
going to your job and then some guy just attacks you.
Not even some guy, your student.
Your
Your
student.
student. And
Your
it's not like-
student attacks you.
Yeah, because it's like if it was somebody else, like if it was an actual like older man, I
Mhm.
think he would be more cautious. Like,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it would be kind of like if you see a man walk into the girl's bathroom, you'd be like, "What are you doing in here?" It's more kind of like you're probably more on your toes when you're around a man, but when you're walking around and there's a 14-year-old, you're like, "Oh, it's just my student." Like you don't
Yeah.
think of it. And she probably didn't even hear him walk into the restroom.
she was
He probably
she probably freaked out though, like as soon as she seen him, because if she was in the girls' restroom and then you're seeing
Yeah.
like a male student, like
you'd have been like, "What are you doing here?" Or what? Or like we said, like maybe he attacked her when she had her back turned and she didn't see him, she didn't hear him, she didn't nothing. And
Yeah.
it was just like real quick went to asphyxiate her and then that's it.
because she went to the restroom and then shortly after he went in, like right after, or
Like within the minute.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. So then, yeah, she was probably like walking in and then her back was turned. So
And
He
you know
caught her
what?
off guard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what's crazy was that I guess the school had just updated all their cameras. Right, Rosa?
I believe so, yeah.
They had just updated all their cameras, so it wasn't like the police saw the order of everything happening, and it was because the cameras were new. If not, who would have known if they would have even caught it on camera that he followed her?
Yeah. Or
That's
probably put two pieces together, like they would have been like, oh, somebody must have done this to her or something. They would have probably
Yeah.
never guessed it was a student.
well,
Yeah.
eventually with time they would have caught him because, I mean, well, who knows? Because he had
Because
all
he
this
was
stuff.
so prepared. Like he just was, to me it sounds like he was so prepared. Well, not really, because
I
then he gave
think
out easily.
I think they would have ended up catching him because remember he had all of her possessions.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So
And then it's
I
like
think that's why they would have caught him.
it's like good thing that the mom did report him missing, because if she wouldn't have, he would have probably gotten away further
Yeah.
than anything. Like he could have dumped them somewhere or just thrown them in the trash or all
Oh,
her
yeah.
belongings. It's just get rid of it.
Well, think about it. He kind of kept it for a long time.
Oh,
Don't
did
you
he?
think? Well, they found him that night.
Yeah, no. And
They
he actually,
so from like what 3 o'clock to like that night when they found him, that's what 5
I
hours,
think it
6
was like
hours,
6. Yeah.
6-7 hours to keep
Mhm.
her and to be walking on the street or by the freeway, or I forgot where exactly he was walking, but to have
Yeah.
all of her stuff still on him. I think that's weird. I think if you're walking along a random street or a highway, you just toss things one at a time,
Yeah.
right? To not get caught.
Mm-hmm.
I
It's
would
like he
think
wanted to get caught or something.
Probably
it's like
like
he
a
was like, "Ah, I don't
possession,
care."
You know what I mean? Like keep a possession of what he did.
Like
Yeah.
like his trophy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because it was her underwear.
Yeah.
Underwear, credit cards,
And he used her credit
IDs
card.
and everything.
He went and like bought something from Wendy's with her credit card. I mean, just the fact that to begin with, he went to watch a movie, a cinema. He went to the cinema and like stayed there, watch. Who does that? Like I would be, I don't know. I just don't have that mentality. I don't know.
I don't know either. Sometimes it's kind of like it's like you want to say like, what were you thinking? Like, what was going through your mind when that happened? But at the same time, you're like, you know what? I don't even want to understand
No.
because it's so foul what these people do that you're like, I would rather just not understand. Like, that's
Yeah,
not a
I mean,
mentality.
and I don't think it was an excuse either, because he not only did it once, he attacked the other youth, so the other lady, so it
Yes.
wasn't triggered.
And
I
didn't
don't
they
think
say
the other
that
lady
he
triggered him.
choked her the same exact way that he choked Colleen?
Yes, he
Yeah, they
tried
said.
to. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, he attacked her when she walked into, what was it, like a locker room or a staff
Yeah.
room? He looked around like he did in the cameras
Mhm.
before he followed his teacher, before he walked into the restroom. He looked around, made sure nobody was paying attention, make sure nobody was present. So he was alert about what he was doing. And he
Yeah.
walked in, did that to his teacher, and then he did the same thing a year later while he was waiting for his trial.
Mhm.
That's
That's
that's so upsetting.
I know, and for the parents, like Colleen's parents, like
Yeah, I
was
hope he
her
gets what he
death was.
deserves. I hope he gets what he deserves where he's at. I
Yeah.
really do.
Like, as it is, teachers go through enough.
Oh yeah.
They
It's
gotta
like,
deal
That's
with a
true.
bunch of
they deal with your kids. While you're at home or you're at work, they're dealing with them.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are.
And then you would maybe understand if she was a mean person, that all the kids hated her, but she was loved. She was loved by the students. They were always like, I guess they would say they didn't like math before until she got there, that she made math like fun for them. You know, like I
Oh,
would understand if she was mean and stuff, I'll be like, okay, well, she had her temper, or she was a bad person, a bad teacher, but she was nice. She was loved by everybody.
yeah. That's so sad. That is so
Yeah.
sad that it's always
that's
really
probably also something that
kind
triggered him,
people.
is that she was so nice. Because you know how there are some people out there that are like, that girl's just way too nice. Like, I can't stand her.
Well,
Yeah.
the other student that was in the classroom with her, I guess she said that um she didn't need tutoring. She just stayed after because that was like what her favorite teacher and she really liked her. And that when
Yeah.
she was leaving, that she told Miss Colleen, like, oh, Miss Colleen, you're a great teacher, like you do such a good job or whatever. And that she like really complimented her. And I guess that student noticed that it bothered him
Mhm.
that she complimented the teacher and told her what a good teacher she was and what a nice person she was.
Oh, wow.
I guess it bothered him that she
Mhm.
said that.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
But
crazy.
but it's like, why would it bother
Yeah, like,
him though? Why? Like, she's his teacher, he's 14. What does he care?
yeah.
That is the part I
I
can't
don't.
get. What does he care if she is just, he's 14.
Like, just move on.
Like, you're a kid. What is wrong with you? What's wrong with your life? A bunch of parents get divorced.
Mhm.
That's no
Yeah.
excuse. A
No.
bunch of parents get divorced. That's no excuse to be like, oh, I'm having a psychotic break. A lot of people move.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't understand that. It's like, if something like that happens to you and people really feel like that's a trauma, or people really feel like, oh, my life is like sucks now or whatever, like time goes on and things get better and there's no reason to be that drastic
Mm-mm.
at all.
There's always,
Yeah.
always.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, the whole time I was hearing to all these podcasts, I was overwhelmed just by every little detail. I was like, oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
I just couldn't understand anything. Like, I just couldn't understand why the motive or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a
That's
very
a
sad
very
case.
sad case.
Yeah. With that being said, we want to send our condolences and prayers to Colleen Ritzer's family. She did not deserve what was horrifically done to her. She had so much more to give, to live, and for everyone to receive. Someone as special, loving as Colleen can never be forgotten. Would you guys like to say anything else? Add on to that?
No, I think that pretty much summarizes it. It's really sad that somebody like her can suffer something so tragic and so gruesome to that
Yeah.
extreme and by the hands of her student, which is, I think, even more sad that it was
Mhm.
somebody that she knew, that she cared for, that she instructed and taught one day, and she saw it as somebody that she could help and protect and, you know, encourage to move forward in life. And that's how he repaid her.
Yeah.
It's sad, like, and especially more for her parents because I believe she lived with them and
Mhm.
they were close and they had like a kind of a set schedule. So it's like she would come home at a certain time or around a certain time, or she would involve them when, you know, she said she was coming in late. And I think it's just worse when parents are the ones that have to bury their kids.
They're your kids. Mhm.
And then not only that, but it's like to hear later on what happened, it just makes it so much more gruesome.
Yeah.
So just prayers to the family.
Yes, yes, our condolences to their family. And, you know, like I said before, I hope he gets what he deserves for what he did. I hope that for
Yeah.
everybody that we talk about,
Yeah.
because they're evil people.
Mm-hmm. That should not
But
be out. That should not be let out. But sadly, sometimes that doesn't happen.
yes, yes. Well, now that we're done with that case, I haven't really heard of any more current cases. Well, I haven't had time to look into any other current cases that are going on. China,
Yeah.
you had mentioned something about a pastor.
Yeah, the only thing I keep seeing currently right now, I don't know the full story, is about a pastor and his wife. And I believe his wife, I don't know the complete facts, but I believe she called 911 before either committing suicide
Mhm.
or was it jumping off a cliff or something like that? I don't.
See, I
It's
had
just
heard something about it too, because he's like the main pastor at his church, right? Or
yeah.
something like that. And she like went missing, and now things are starting to come up that they were having problems in their marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
So,
no knowledge of it. I've been so busy that I haven't heard about it. So
okay,
now I'm interested.
I just pulled up an
Details.
article. That's why you see me off to the side.
Okay,
New
yeah.
York
Give us some
Post.
details.
Okay, from the New York Post. It's the title is Wife of South Carolina Pastor Called 911 Before Suicide to Share Location. I just want my family to know where to find me. And this article is by David Proper. It says the estranged wife of a South Carolina pastor who died by suicide called 911 to ensure authorities could trace her phone to a wooded area where was found dead last week, according to newly released audio. Mika Miller, who claimed her husband John Paul abused her, threatened suicide during the April 27 call with the dispatcher ahead of her tragic death. The recorded phone call was among new details the Robeson County Sheriff's Office released Tuesday in an effort to push back against conspiracy theories surrounding her death, because a lot of people were saying that the pastor killed her, because all these things started coming out that their marriage was not good. It states, I'm about to kill myself and I just want my family to know where to find me, Miller said, the wife, according to the audio provided by the sheriff's office. Miller started the phone call with emergency services by asking, are you able to trace my location of my phone? She mentioned she was at a national park and gave the dispatcher her phone number. She also said she was sharing her location on her phone as the dispatcher tried to pinpoint where Miller was. The Lumber River State Park, the dispatcher asked, to which Miller replied, yes, that's where I am. Miller's death was ruled a suicide due to a self-inflicted gunshot wound by Robeson County Medical Examiner's Office on Monday. The sheriff's office stressed that John Paul Miller and another woman who had allegedly involved with Wait, that didn't read right. Hold on, guys. Give me a second. The sheriff's office stressed that John Paul Miller and another woman he was allegedly involved with were not in North Carolina the night before or the day of her death. The pastor was at an athletic event in Charleston, South Carolina, the same day his spouse was found dead, law enforcement said. The incident has garnered much attention from across the Carolinas and beyond. I want to assure everyone that a very methodical investigation was conducted by our criminal investigations team and crime scene investigative team, Sheriff Bernice Wilkins said in a statement. Unfortunately, rumors and conspiracy theories were spreading quickly and assumptions were being made. However, in the end, we must make decisions based on the facts and evidence that has been gathered. While I know it's not what my people wanted to hear, the evidence is quite clear and compelling, and we are as saddened as anyone that this occurred. Also, they declared it a suicide.
Yeah,
When deputies, what happened?
she actually did, like, she did call 911 and she told the dispatcher, like, well, the first thing she said is, "Can you trace my call?" And then after, she was like, "I just want my family to know where to find me, because I'm about to," I don't know if she said I'm about to jump or I'm about to commit suicide or something like that. And
Oh,
I think I had also heard, and I don't know if she had a Facebook page or if she had a YouTube page or something like that,
yeah.
or it was a recording of some sort that she said, like, "Oh, is it, what did she say? It's it holy, or would Jesus like it if you hurt somebody else?" Or like, because they said she was being abused.
Poor thing.
So
So
maybe she committed suicide, but like she was blaming it, not saying that he actually killed her, but he killed her by her committing suicide because of all the things he put her through, maybe?
I think it
Like
was the motive.
because
Yeah,
of that?
I think it was the motive.
Yeah.
Wait, wait. I'm reading the article while you guys are talking. Listen. When deputies reached the state park last month, they found a handgun in the water near the crime scene during a search of the area, the sheriff's office said. The one that she must have used to kill herself, right? Ropes and authorities also provided a timeline of when Miller left her house and went to buy a gun at a store on her way to the state park. Prior to her death, she reportedly said if she was ever found dead, her husband was behind it. According to an affidavit filed by her younger sister, Sierra Francis, in Horry County Probate Court, Miller met John Paul when she was 14 or 15, while he was 28 or 29.
Yeah.
That
So he was
is
older.
disgusting.
Yeah.
But the
He was-
two were separated and their case was going through the legal system. Mika alleged to relatives and other church members that she was abused by her partner, according to her sister's affidavit. That is so disgusting. John Paul Miller told the Christian Post his wife, whom he wed in 2017, suffered from mental illnesses. John Paul Miller broke the news of Mika's death during a recent service after he asked congregants not to chat about it inside the church.
Sounds very suspicious.
How are you going to be a pastor, but you're going to be 28, 29 years old talking to a 14, 15-year-old?
Nowadays, you can't expect anything from pastors or anything.
Anywhere.
Yeah, no.
How? I'm sorry, but if I'm going to church and I find out that my pastor is talking to somebody that's 14, 15 years old and they're 30, I'm be like, sir, I'm in the wrong church.
You're like, no, thank you.
It's gonna be red flags left and right.
Yeah.
I'm be like, nah, I can't believe a word you say, because if I find out that you're trying to date my daughter that's 14, 15 years old and your ass is 30, that
So
pastor
how
won't
old
be
was
safe.
she, by the way? How old was she?
When she died, I don't know.
So she
I'm
was
just
older then, right?
I'm just yeah, now she's older, but I was just reading this article. I don't know how old she was. But it does show a picture of her buying a handgun. And yeah. That's so sad. That is sad, because a lot of people were doing conspiracy theories, and what I had seen on TikTok was a video of her was a video of the pastor saying, please don't talk about this in church, that his wife had died.
Well, if we're doing conspiracy theories, what do you guys think was like what happened? Like, what do you guys could picture based off what we know so far of the kid? She was young, he was older. She had said that he like physically,
He abused her.
did harm to her.
I think that a lot of people that get abused by their partners can be
It was
pushed.
30.
She was 30?
Mm-hmm.
Can be pushed to self-harm. because I feel like they can be abused mentally and physically to the point where they truly believe their partners and thinking they're worthless and they aren't loved and they don't have anybody. And I think especially in the position she was in, where her husband was a pastor, or is a pastor, and he's supposed to be somebody that is supposed to be very spiritual and is supposed to help guide you. I think for him to mistreat her and him to abuse her, I think that makes it even worse for her. Because who does she trust?
Yeah, because it's like not only that, but if she was to go and tell someone, like, would they actually believe her? Or because some may see him as a role model, you know, like, oh, the pastor and his wife are always happy and blah blah blah.
Or she's lying,
like
or
she's trying to damage his image or something, you know.
Yes. That's really sad.
It is.
And that ain't a church or a pastor I would want to attend or listen to.
I wouldn't go.
I'd find out and be like, sir, you need to be in jail.
Yes.
And that is
like
what
is he gonna teach everybody else that it's okay to do? No.
Yes, be like, sir, that's being a pedophile. If you're over age and you're with a 14, 15-year-old, no.
I wonder if they have kids. Does it say?
It doesn't say if they have kids. No, it doesn't. It doesn't say. That's really sad.
It is.
I wonder if I'm gonna have to research this and look into it and see if they're doing any more research in it, or if that's it. They've called it a suicide and they're no longer doing anything.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna keep looking into it, because I believe the sister's like still fighting and being like, no.
Yeah, let me write it down so we can look.
Yeah, me too. I'm already writing it down.
This case is recent, so new stuff is just coming out.
Yes. Look.
So it's probably the case. Well, it's not even a case,
Her
right?
name is Micah Miller. Mica Miller. So there probably won't be a lot out there yet.
It would probably be just like a really short case, since she did call and say, you know, that she was attempting, or she was going to do suicide.
Yeah. Well, we'll end up looking into that. I want to thank everybody that stopped by to watch our YouTube video or our channel. If you guys are new, welcome. We are new too. We're just starting.
Yes.
So please be patient with us and be kind. And if you guys liked our video, please like it and please subscribe. Hopefully we're going to be providing videos every week. We're trying our best to and have them out by Tuesday. So ladies, anything you guys want to say before we're done?
Just thank you guys, and please comment and subscribe, and cheers to you guys for a good night.
Yes, cheers.
Cheers to that.
You know what I've noticed? I always say cheers and I put it down. I don't drink.
Yes, I noticed that. We take what we can get.
But every last drop.
Yeah.
There's no more. But all right, ladies, I'll see you guys next week.
All right then. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.